Okay, good morning, everyone. This is day one of Gmail. We're going to learn to use Gmail in a professional way. How many people here use Gmail? 1, 2, 3, 4. Before you got here. Okay, good. And what did you use, Rayanne?
Yahoo.
Yahoo?
Yeah.
Okay. Nick, what did you use? Hotmail. How about you, Justin? What did you use as your Gmail?
What, just now?
As your email before this, before today?
What website?
Yahoo, Hotmail.
I think it's Google Chrome.
Okay, Gmail? Okay. Okay, so we won't worry. Okay, so we have, so the good news in California, we have 7 people. We'll probably have them come up and introduce themselves tomorrow just because we're running late. So one of the things that you'll do is come up, say, hi, here's my name, I'm from here, and that's what we do. So we'll probably do that tomorrow. What?
On the camera?
Yeah, just come right up here and say hello. Get used to it, where you're from. Okay, today we're going to do Gmail. In a second, we're going to watch a video on Gmail. What we're going to do first, though, is just have a brief little summary of Gmail. The difference between what we're doing in Gmail and what everybody else has done before is we're going to take Gmail to a professional level. Gmail has a lot of tweaks that we can do to improve it so it's good for professional quality. And what I would say to you is from this point to the rest of your life, to the foreseeable future at least, till something really better comes along, is that Gmail should be your email, the one that you use. Why? Well, there's a lot of reasons. It does a lot of things, but the 2 we're going to focus on this week. 1, you can send emails from any other name. So if you go to work, and let's say you work in the downtown project, and they say, okay, Victoria, you have an email that's victoria@downtownproject.com. Okay, you can hook that into your Gmail. So when somebody sends you an email to you at downtownproject.com, it's forwarded to your Gmail. Okay, that's not really a big deal. But now you only have to look at one place, right? Your Gmail. And on your smartphone, once you have your smartphone set up, all of your emails will go into your Gmail account. It's easy to send them or to see them. But what we're going to set up, everybody's going to get a professional email account here. Well, everybody else does. You guys will be getting a professional email account here. And so let's say it's victoria@downtownproject.com. She will be able to use her Gmail account to send it as victoria@downtownproject.com. Okay, and professional people don't send emails that say at Yahoo, at Hotmail, at AOL, at these other things. They send them from something. And when you're putting your resume together here, we don't want you to say, you know, kittycat69@yahoo.com as an example. That doesn't work for an employer. So we want you to say Victoria at Larson Gladius or the SPQR or the obligation.us, one of the professional ones. So when the interviewer sees it, they take you as a professional person. So again, the benefit is you have your Gmail account. We set it up so people can send you a Gmail to any other or an email to any account, and it will go to your Gmail. The other thing, you can send it from that account. You can use your Gmail to send an account. I think I have like 10 or 15 different email addresses that I can send from my Gmail account. And so if you have 1 or 2, it's not a big deal. But if you have 15, it's not practical to be logging on to each account to see what emails you have, right? And the other thing is with Google, what did Google start as? Do you guys know? Search, right. Google started as a search engine. So their emails make it easy, their email system makes it easy to find any email you've gotten in the past from anyone. So again, if you have 10 or 15 different email addresses, they send it, anybody sends it to you, any of those 10 or 15, they're all going to end up in your Gmail account, and you can set it up to send it from any one of those 15 that you have. So that's a big benefit. And then what the other thing we're going to do here is set it up so you have a signature. So most people, when they send an email, it just has, you might say goodbye and put your name, right? So we're going to set it up so it has your name, your contact information on it, and other things that make you look professional. Those are some of the things that we do, or that Gmail does on a professional level. What we do first is we're going to watch a video, a tutorial video, to give you an introduction to what Gmail is. Then we're going to come back and we're going to set up our Gmail properly. Okay, any questions in California?
No.
Okay, good. So let's all watch the video. I'm going to put it on the big screen here, so I'm going to turn my volume down, but we can hear you if you have any
Okay.
questions. Okay, Crystal, are you done?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. Good. So, does anybody have any questions about Gmail in California?
No?
Okay, so everybody knows it. Good. That makes it easy for the test. All right, so, okay, for the new students in particular, one of the things that you need to get is it is important to know how to type. Who agrees? Who disagrees? Anybody disagree? Justin, how do you feel about that? Okay, good. So for the future, it is going to be more essential than ever to know how to type. And yes, maybe there will be voice and you won't need to type, but nobody has been able to solve that problem for the last 20 years. So typing is a thing. Here, we study 8 Google apps. Today, we're doing Gmail. In California is Victoria. What is another Google app that we study?
Calendar.
Calendar. Okay, good. Who else in California? What?
Circle.
Circle. Well, what's Circle's part of?
Google Plus.
Right. Okay, good. Now, how about here? What's another one? Maps.
Drive.
Drive. What else?
Voice.
Voice.
Search.
No. What's another one? There's 2 more that we do. So new people, new students, draw this picture in your book so you know what the 8 Google apps are. YouTube, good.
Chrome.
Okay, good. These are the 8 Google apps that we studied. Over the next whatever number of weeks you're here, but for the new students, over the next 16 weeks, we're going to go through these twice individually, but we're going to talk about them every week. Okay, and how they work together. All Google apps are designed to work together. You can be in Gmail and you can create an event on your calendar. You can attach a map to that. You can make a call from Gmail. From being in Gmail, you can make a call to somebody, set up a hangout. You can attach a YouTube video. Chrome is the browser that's like Internet Explorer. Okay, so it's very important to get these things are all interconnected. And I only have Gmail in the center because that's what we're talking about this week. If we were doing Drive, which we did last week, or did we do Drive? Yeah, we did Drive. Drive, if we did Drive this week, Drive would be in the center. And some of these apps have sub-apps. So somebody mentioned a sub-app off of Google Plus, which is Circles.
Communities.
Okay, then you have Communities. And what else do we have in Google Plus? Huh?
Our homepage, that would be a community.
We have Hangouts. Okay. In here, we have Contacts. Would be a subgroup, and he talked about that. He also talked about Tasks, is a subgroup from Gmail. Let's see, what was another one? In Drive, what were the sub-apps in Drive? Folders.
Forms.
Forms. And then docs and spreadsheets, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 8 primary apps and some apps have sub-apps in them. But again, today we're focused on this, or this week we're focused on Gmail, setting it up, getting it to be professional. Getting it to be professional. Good morning.
What was the second one? Try it.
On this one, docs and sheets.
Docs.
Documents. It's like word processing. It's their version of Word. So we're going to learn, we're going to focus on these apps. These will be common nature, and I can assure you that people outside of here don't know how to use these. So you're not going to get a job in an office today if you can't type. But just because you know how to type, you're not going to get a job, especially if you have a record. Does anybody recognize the lieutenant? Okay. Okay. Number one, you're not going to get a job if you don't know how to type. But just because you type, you're not going to be able to get a job. Number two, you're not going to be able to get a job unless you know Microsoft Office. But do you think you're going to get an office just because a job just because you know Office? No. Okay.
Yeah, don't define all of them.
You have to know what other people don't know, because you have this thing that I call baggage, which is called what? A record. Okay. History. Okay, you have that. So you have to have something more. And the something more is knowing how to use the cloud. Every business wants to move to the cloud. Okay? You'll see more and more commercials about the cloud. In fact, Jamie pointed out that he saw previews for a movie. What's that movie called? Sex Tape. Right. Sex Tape is about the cloud, right?
Yeah.
And what is one of the big things they say in the very beginning?
It's
It's on the cloud, but nobody
knows where
that's
the
right.
cloud
Nobody
is.
understands the cloud. Well, here's the good news. When we're done in here, everybody's going to be very proficient, very competent at the cloud. You're going to know the cloud, and more important than that, you're going to be able to talk to other people. So if you say to an interviewer, I know the cloud, and I can bring the cloud to your business, guess what? You're going to be able to do it, okay, because of the way our class is set up. And part of that is we use the Navy SEALs Learn One, Do One, Teach One approach. So on your page in your book of important thoughts, go to that page,
Right here.
and then make sure you have Navy. Let me recap. Navy SEALs.
Where's Dodie Larson?
Do one, learn one. Okay, so while I'm writing it, Israel, why don't you describe that so everybody has it clear?
As you learn something, you practice it by doing it, and then you solidify it with teaching someone else how to do it. That's where you learn the most.
Good.
That's the learn one, do one, teach one.
Okay. So 11 years ago, the company I worked for, job was to train Navy SEALs who had gotten out of the Navy SEALs after they discharged from the Navy to get them to be normal people again. And so one of the things they taught me was one of their learning techniques is learn one, do one, teach one. Because what they do is mostly life and death. You need to know what it is. And if you're practicing, you really, really need to know how to do something, because other people on your team, their lives might depend on it. So as Israel said, the first one you learn, and that's kind of like this, it's like me standing up here, but what everybody knows is if I said to you, okay, Victoria, do this, push this button, do that, do whatever, and then I said, okay, now show me, you're not going to be able to do it, okay, because all you were doing was a thought comes in this ear, and then you have your hands do things to do it, right? Okay, we're going to test it. Okay? But that's the learn one, do one. Somebody says, push this button, don't do this, type this, whatever, and they do 4 or 5 of those steps, and they say, okay, now you do it. Most people can't do it because they were just listening and doing what the person said to do. The do one stage is where you have to demonstrate that you have knowledge, and that's where most people learn, because now you have to force yourself to remember how to do it. But where you really learn is where you have to teach someone how to do it. Well, you're at the stage of saying, Okay, now do this, push this button, move this, don't do that. Okay, that's where you really learn. So here, we're going to learn the apps. You're going to become better at these than other people out there, unless you happen to be working for Google or you do, there's going to be maybe 1 out of 100 people who can do this as well as you can. But again, like I said earlier, just because you know something, if you can't communicate it, it's not much better than knowing it or not knowing it. Okay, if you can't communicate what you know, it's almost the same as not knowing it. So you have to be able to communicate. Part of communicating is being able to feel comfortable giving information, right? Because we've all been in a situation where you say to somebody, or you're thinking, well, okay, well, Jamie, Justin, will at some point in the next, before we're done today, a thought will go through your head, should I help Jamie out because he doesn't know what he's doing? Okay? But then what thought comes after that? Maybe he isn't interested, maybe, I don't know, maybe he thinks I'm going to be pushy, maybe he thinks I'm going to be disrespectful to him, and then you say, well, it's easier just not to help him, right? That's what we usually do. When you're used to being in a class and all you're doing is somebody's helping you and you're learning to help someone else, they're teaching you, you're teaching them, it just gets to be very easy. Right, Fred?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so Fred jumps up and he's helping people. Scott does that, and they think it's not strategic that they're sitting in opposite ends, so it's easy for them to get to other people. So, again, the purpose is to learn these, to become competent in these skills, because these are the things that will get you jobs. Not typing, not Microsoft, but if you don't know typing, you don't know Microsoft, you're not going to get a job in an office. And trust me, even if you like a job where you're working with your hands, you're a mechanic, you're doing HVAC, you're doing something like that, at some point in your life, you're going to want to not have to do manual labor or physical labor. You know, Tellis, who was here, he's been in construction his whole life, but he's now 56, 57, something like that. He can't go be a guy doing roofing. He can't keep up. So knowing how to do this is a skill that even if you like working on engines, the guy that owns the shop that works on engines, he needs people to go out and get bids, or salespeople, or people to do paperwork. Those jobs, they need those too. So you become competent in the skill, and then by working with other people, you become confident in being able to take that skill to the business. Because you have to convince an employer, I know the cloud, and I can get you to the cloud, because that's what the employer wants. Well, let's say you're an employer, Rayanne, and what's a business you used to work in? None? Never had a job?
Mm-mm.
Okay. What job did you have?
A hostess.
Okay. So you had a job as a hostess. So in a restaurant? Okay.
Buca de Beppo.
Okay, Buca de Beppo. So they had people that did accounting and answering phones and all kinds of other things.
Sales coordinator.
Okay, now you're going to learn, sales coordinator, that the cloud can help them bring in customers. They could send a text message or a tweet to all of their customers and say, hey, the first 50 people to respond, free dessert. To get reservations, right? Do you think that might get some reservations, get some people to go there? Yeah. So the owner or the manager at Buca de Beppo says, I want to move to the cloud, but none of our people know how to do that. Nobody here knows the cloud. How are they going to learn the cloud?
Somebody's got to teach them.
How?
By me.
By them getting on
As
it.
a
Okay,
kid.
Tony. Well, there's two ways. You hire somebody to come in and train your staff, but the problem with that is your staff is working. Okay, it's not easy just to say, okay, everybody, we're going to school.
Right.
Okay, and then you got to pay a guy to do that. So
We get meetings every now and then. So
Okay.
I'm meeting.
So a meeting would be a way to do it, but if the employees don't know, so the consultant comes in and
Yeah.
does the meeting. Yeah, so that's one way. The other way is what?
Teach one.
You have somebody who's an employee
Yeah.
teach the people how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what most employers will do, because what they look at is every dollar I pay a consultant is one less dollar in my pocket. So if I can keep the money in my pocket and not give it to someone else, that's what I'm going to do. Okay? So this is very important stuff. The cloud is the thing that's going to get you either the job or the better job or advancement. And it doesn't matter what business you want to be in. If you want to be in a marijuana shop, knowing the cloud is better than not knowing the cloud. Okay? You want to get a job in the downtown project with Tony Hsieh, you have to know this stuff because they don't hire people who don't. Even if it's in the market that they're opening up down here, because they want the person who's selling bananas. So when they came here to talk about it, they said, well, we just want people who want to sell bananas, who are passionate about selling bananas. But if the guy selling bananas can say, hey, why don't we do this? Let everybody here know we have a special going on bananas. That if you mix bananas with marshmallows and this other thing, something really good happens. The manager of that place is going to say, hey, I like you. You're somebody who has ideas. That's what they look for in Tony Hsieh's organization, the Downtown Project. That's what they hire for. So if you have that ability to be creative and clever, and you can communicate it, and you have skills to back it up, guess what? No problem getting a job. Okay, so we have 7 minutes left. Now, what we have to do, we're a little bit behind schedule. So in California, please go to settings. So everybody go to your Gmail, go to the gear in the upper right-hand corner.
Click on it.
Okay, now one way to get to your Google Apps. On the top of any of your Google Apps, there is a grid, a 9-square grid, 9 black boxes. If you click on that, it opens up and it has all of the apps that are there. So if you get to your Gmail, what we're going to do is go to settings.
So click on it.
Click on the gear. Does anybody not see that?
You see it?
Okay, Cody. Okay, Cody's there.
Okay.
How about you, Justin?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the gear over here.
There's nothing.
Here's the gear. Okay, so if you click
Oh, there it is.
on the gear,
And then settings.
and then click on settings. This is running slow.
That's what you were talking about.
Click on settings down here. And then some different tabs open up, or not tabs, but 2 lines in blue. They're links, hyperlinks. Click on the one that says Labs. Okay, so we need to get Google configured, or Gmail configured, to be used for professional purposes. Just click on the one that says Labs. Okay, so it didn't even take the rest of the day. 5 minutes, Justin is helping Jamie. Good job. Okay, so mine might be in a different order than yours, and any students who've been here before, theirs should already be configured. Many of these we are going to enable, some of them we are not going to enable, just because they're not necessary for professional accounts. And what we're concerned about here is you learning to use Gmail for professional purposes, not for personal purposes. You can do that. Okay, so the first one should say App Search, does it?
Yep.
Make sure that is enabled. Okay, next, authentication icon for verified senders, enable.
We already did all this.
Auto advance, enabled. Canned response, disable that. Okay, you can learn to do that on your own. Custom keyboard shortcuts, disable that. You can learn to do that on your own. What's the next one that you have, Justin?
Google Calendar. All right.
Google Calendar gadget, good. Enable that.
Enable.
Enable.
Okay.
What's next?
Google Maps.
Google Maps, enable that. What's next?
Google Voice.
Google Voice, enable that. Okay, what's next?
Mark is red.
Mark has read, enable that. Okay, now what?
Multiple inboxes.
Disable multiple inboxes. Okay, that is just a complication. It's not necessary. That's for people who have nothing better to do than have obsessive compulsive disorder. Okay, next, what's after that?
Picasa.
Picasa. Okay, enable that.
Enable,
Yes. Okay, what else? What's
Picture in
next?
chat.
Pictures in chat. Enable that. Okay, now what?
Preview pane.
Preview pane. Enable that. Okay, now what? What's the
Quick
next one?
links.
Quick links. Enable that. Okay, what's next?
Quote selected.
text.
Quote selected text. Okay, good.
enable it.
Enable that.
I don't think everything on this thing, one was disabled.
Everything's able.
No, not everything's not enabled.
I can-
Almost everything. Okay,
No,
what's
no, no,
after
no,
that?
Right side chat.
Right side chat. Enable that. Then what?
Smart labels.
Smart labels. Do not enable that. Again, that's a OCD thing.
Multiple box. So see.
Undo
Okay.
send.
Undo send. Now, here's the thing about undo send. You have about 2 seconds to undo. Okay, you don't have till tomorrow, huh?
This store last time was a little bit more now.
I thought it was
Okay, it
like
might be, oh, it's like 15 seconds?
30 seconds.
Okay. Okay. It's not a long time.
So we're gonna enable or disable?
Enable.
Yeah, it's only a few seconds.
Okay, the next one is what?
Unread.
Unread, enable that. So that'll put a little number up here. You can't see this tab, but this says there's 100 plus unread emails in this account. Okay, what else? What's
Yelp
next?
previews.
App search we already did,
Yelp
yes. Enable.
previews and mail.
What?
Yelp previews and mail.
Yelp, no. That's a personal thing. Disable Yelp.
Disabled. All right. Got it all.
Any changes?
We already did all of this.
Okay, now what about add any gadget by URL?
That was the first one.
That might be down towards the bottom. That should be enabled. Multiple inboxes disabled, smart labels disabled, Yelp disabled. Okay, now go to the bottom and save change. We've got a couple minutes left. If Stephanie or Crystal, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we're just going to move on for a preview for tomorrow. So go back into settings. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do tomorrow.
Custom key shortcuts was disabled, right? Or enabled.
Okay, so here's my email. Here's my Gmail.
Disabled.
Okay, so I'm going to go into settings. What I want you to do is go to where it says accounts and import, right here.
We should have already done
Okay. So under accounts and import, these are all of the different email addresses that I can send from. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. There's 9 different email accounts that I can send from. And they're all set up so that if somebody sends one to me at my Yahoo account, which is my personal account, if somebody sends me to one at my Yahoo account and I hit reply, it gets sent to them from my Yahoo account. If someone sends me an email here at the school, it gets sent back from the school. If someone sends me one from Chowtuti, the magazine, the newsletter that we publish, they get one back from Chowtuti. So people are not confused.
Should we put just our school Gmail address and our obligation Gmail address and nothing else on that one?
No, you should have everything.
Okay, I can put my regular email.
Okay, but we're going to do that tomorrow. So it's break time now. Crystal, Stephanie, any questions? Any comments?
No, Ed, we're fine, thank you.
Okay, great. So tomorrow we're going to set up our accounts and do our signatures.
Okay,
Okay, thank you, everyone.
you're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.